we're going to look at rendering an image from your design. Fusion 360 does a very nice job of creating a photorealistic image of your product. And this process is known as rendering. So I've already set my material and set the appearance. You can do this in the render tool, but I think I would set it here in your design. From this design, we are going to render a design. So as you can see, you can change the background. I have a aspect ratio on here, and we'll take a look at changing these. But keep it simple, at least here to start. First thing, we are going to set a background. You can choose a solid color, and you have quite a variation on how you change that background color. I could choose an environment. Being that we have the educational version, we are pretty short on a list of environments. Some different lighting. You could try downloading some of these. I don't know why you put this little desktop organizer or post-it sticky note organizer in the middle of the desert or a snowfield. I'm just going to choose one here. Did it change off of photo booth? There it goes. So you can kind of see how this is going to affect the shadow. The other thing is just orbiting and zooming in and out will also change your shadow. So we're not making too many big changes here. I could change the brightness. I mean, obviously I would think that's too bright. Easy on the sliding scale there to change your brightness. I'm on the environment now. If I want to switch back to my solid color, there's my solid color. You can turn your reflections off. I don't know. Flattened ground, I haven't really noticed a difference. If I scroll down a little bit further, really two options here. Orthographic or perspective. And probably the most important one is changing your aspect ratio. If you use the default, it's going to try to render the entire workspace, which is going to take substantially longer. I want to really narrow this down to focus in on my object. You can create your own aspect ratio. I think from this default list, you can narrow it down pretty quickly. I can now zoom in if I'm going to keep this 4:3. Maybe just changing my orientation will get me where I really want to be. So I really haven't changed much here. This aspect ratio is going to save you a lot of time in the long run, getting it much closer to your object. So from here, all I'm now going to do is render this object. I already set the image size, I've already did the aspect ratio. I would use standard instead of final, and we're going to hit render. So I've kept it pretty simple, and it will take time for this to render. I'm getting usually 5 to 10 minutes. But I have gone ahead and rendered a couple other ones so we didn't have to sit here and wait throughout this video. But as I keep changing the background, as I keep changing the orientation, as I make another rendered image, I will create a running list. And as you render a couple, you may look back and be like, I don't like this because the shadow's cast too far, or the reflection's showing up, or I don't like the background that I chose. You can always come back to one that you have already created. And once you have, I want to now download this. We have complete success rate uploading a JPEG file to a Google Doc. You can resize it, you can crop it. It is an image file. We're going to save these as a JPEG. Save it to a recognized source. Your desktop on the school computers is not advised. Maybe on your personal laptop or personal computer it's fine. The Z drive is an option, a USB drive. So as I go to save this, I'm going to use my Z drive for this one. I'm going to rename it Sticky Note 2.1. I now have this image saved so I can insert this into a Google Doc to create my catalog page. So keep the rendering settings simple. Customize the background, color, lighting, brightness, aspect ratio. Aspect ratio, aspect ratio. Download it as a JPEG. You're ready to then insert that into a Google Doc. You're inserting an image. You can then crop it, resize it once it's there.